Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Bexar County Court at Law number 6 and the Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court Zoom plea docket for Thursday, July 29, 2021. It is approximately 2:20 p.m. in the afternoon. The cases we have set on our docket today are State of Texas versus Catherine May, 657186, represented by Mr. Ray Aleman. State of Texas versus Sean Hayden, 655509, represented by Mr. Jeffrey Hole. State of Texas versus Nino Lacina, cause 655606, represented by Mr. Sean Simpson. State of Texas versus Chase Berry, cause 658980, represented by Mr. Larry Bloomquist. State of Texas versus Jonathan Kuros, cause 650382, represented by Juan Aguilera. State of Texas versus Iris Rodriguez, 659573, represented by Mr. Douglas Kapmeyer.
We're ready for a plea, Your Honor.
Thank you. State of Texas versus Laura Laney, cause 658685, represented by Mr. Cecil Lane. State of Texas versus Jessica Hughes, cause 653628, represented by Ms. Elizabeth Russell. And cause number 652341, State of Texas versus Dominique Maldonado, represented by Ms. Ashley Morgan. The first batch we're going to take up is Ms. May, Mr. Hayden, Mr. Lacina, Mr. Berry, and Mr. Quiros. And the last four on the second shift are going to be Ms. Rodriguez, Ms. Laney, Ms. Hughes, and Ms. Maldonado. Okay, representing the state is Mr. Guillermo Flores and Ms. Alexis. I'm losing it. Alexis, I can read on the screen maybe. O'Connor, thank you. And the first document I need.
I told you, are you on Zoom? We're ready to go. You're the first one. Okay.
All right. First document on for me is entitled Defendant's Consent to Plea by Video Conference. And Ms. May, is this your signature on this document in clause 657186? And is this May's microphone turned on?
Yes, it is, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. And Mr. Aleman, as attorney for Ms. May, is this your signature on this document also?
I can't see it, but I'm sure it is.
All right, thank you.
Can't see it.
In clause 655509, Mr. Hayden, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Sean Hayden.
Is it Hyden? Is that the correct spelling?
Yes, Your Honor. Sorry, I was just trying to get my client's attention so he would take himself off mute.
No problem. Mr. Hayden, can you hear me, sir?
Oh, yes, I understand.
Is this your signature, sir?
Yes, sir.
Hey, thanks, sir. Mr. Hole, as attorney for Mr. Hayden, is this your signature on this document also?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And in clause 655606, Mr. Lacina, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Simpson, as attorney for Mr. Lacina, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, Judge, it is.
Thank you. In cause 658980, State of Texas versus Chase Berry. Mr. Berry, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And Mr. Bloomquist, as attorney for Mr. Berry, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Thank you. In cause 650382, Mr. Quiros, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Mr. Aguilera, as attorney for Mr. Quiros, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, it is, Judge.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, I'm going to inquire as to whether this is your signature on a document entitled Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonitions that purports to have your signatures on the back, effectively waiving certain constitutional rights you must waive in order to enter a plea before this court. In fact, Ms. May, is this your signature on this document now?
Oh, yes. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Hayden, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Lacina, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Berry, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And Mr. Quiros, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Each of you, by signing this document, are you telling me that you've had enough time to either read this document or have it read to you in its entirety? If you had any questions about what was on this document, those questions were answered to your satisfaction by your attorney. So that in signing this document, you're telling me that you agree with and understand everything on this document. Is that correct, Ms. May?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Is that correct, Mr. Hayden?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Is that correct, Mr. Lacina?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Is that correct, Mr. Barry?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Is that correct, Mr. Quiros?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Aleman, as attorney for Ms. May, have you had enough time to go over this case with her? And in your opinion, is she mentally competent?
Yes, Your Honor, and she is mentally competent, yes.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Hall, as attorney for Mr. Hayden.
Yes, Your Honor, he is mentally competent, in my opinion.
Same question for Mr. Simpson, as attorney for Mr. Lucina.
Yes, Your Honor.
Same question for Mr. Bloomquist, as attorney for Mr. Barry.
Yes, Your Honor.
Same question for Mr. Quiros, Mr. Aguilera, as attorney for Mr. Quiros.
Have had adequate time, and yes, he is competent, Judge.
Thank you. Ms. May, are you a United States citizen, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Hayden.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Lucina.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Barry.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Quiros.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Aleman, as attorney for Ms. May, has the state fully complied with discovery for you on this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Same question for Mr. Hall, as attorney for Mr. Hayden.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Simpson, as attorney for Mr. Lucina.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Bloomquist, as attorney for Mr. Barry.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Aguilera, as attorney for Mr. Quiros.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And cause number 657-186, Ms. May, to the charge of driving while intoxicated, first offense. How do you plead, ma'am?
Guilty. No contest.
And is there an agreement for Ms. May?
What?
Yes, there is, Your Honor.
State, you got an agreement on Ms. May, 657-186? Alexis, your microphone is turned off, it appears. I can't hear you.
Oh. What was the question, sir?
We're talking about the plea bargain on Ms. May.
Oh,
I need one of the DAs to answer my question.
All right, can you hear me now, Judge?
I couldn't, gotcha.
All right, it's 12 months deferred adjudication, $500 fine plus court costs, 48 hours community service, UWI education, victim impact panel, CATSNP, and Smart Start Mobile for half the term.
And Mr. Aleman, is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, Your Honor, except as you may remember, Miss May lives in Laramie, Wyoming, so it will have to be transferred over there, and I don't know how we're
Okay.
going to handle this.
She lives in Wyoming, is that what you just told me?
Yes, sir.
All right.
No Cowboys.
Woo! That is not a problem. Okay, make sure I get this right. Ms. May, clause 657-186, the court accepts your plea of no contest to the offense of driving while intoxicated. Although I have enough evidence to find you guilty, I'm going to withhold the finding of guilt. Place you on 1 year, deferred adjudication probation. That says a $500 fine plus court costs, 48 hours community service, DWI education course, DWI victim impact panel, community alliance for traffic safety and new intervention program, or Wyoming equivalent outpatient drug. Smart Start mobile home interlock for 6 months. What did I miss, State?
You got it all, Judge.
All righty.
Judge,
If Ms.
if
May,
I-
I'm sorry, go ahead, Sue.
If I may, being that it's being transferred out of state and you're putting out of state equivalent, please make sure that you include that class has to be no less than 16 hours.
All right. And do I put down, will Wyoming take a transfer of this case, or is this a possibility we're going to be answering virtually or by mail or something?
It may be a answer by mail, Judge. I don't know. I haven't transferred a case up there in many, many years. I don't know if they will take a deferred DWI or obstruction.
All right, well, we'll just say transfer to Wyoming, and if that's a problem in some capacity, we're just going to allow Ms. May to answer virtually or answer by mail, whatever the probation department would request.
Yes, sir.
All right, anything further from the state of the defense on Ms. May?
No, Your Honor.
Good luck, Ms. May. Thank you, Mr. Aleman.
Judge, if I can give everybody instructions while
Sure.
I'm here.
Go ahead.
My name's Officer Gross. I'm with the probation department. For anyone that is placed on probation today, The probation department will reach out to you within the next 48 hours, either via telephone, text, or email. They will let you know that you need to go through a orientation, and they will give you an orientation date. Everybody needs to get out a pencil and write down this phone number. Attorneys, it might be a good idea for you to write it down as well. If you do not hear from the probation department by close of business on Monday, you need to call the intake office on Tuesday at about 10 o'clock, and their telephone number is 210-335-7446. Okay, it's your responsibility to make sure that this paperwork gets signed and that you go through orientation, because if you fail to go to orientation, the judge will issue a warrant for your arrest. Okay, and if you have any questions beyond that, you can reach out to your attorney, and your attorney can probably answer the question, or they can reach out to the court or myself. Good luck, everyone.
Okay, back on clause number 6555509, state of Texas versus Sean B. Hayden. Mr. Hayden, to the charge of driving while intoxicated, how do you plead, sir?
No contest.
And is there an agreement for Mr. Hayden?
12 months deferred adjudication, a $500 fine, but 250 of that is probated, plus court costs, 24 hours community service, UWI education, victim impact panel, CATSNP, and Smart Start Mobile for half the term.
Mr. Hall, is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, Judge, and I would just request if the court would allow him to make donations in lieu of community service hours, if the court would consider that. And the only other thing is, I believe the paperwork shows a probation, so I think that it would need to be amended to show that it's a deferred instead of a probation.
Yeah, that's what I've got is deferred. And we have a program where there are designated court charities, primarily special operations, wounded warriors, and family violence protective services, those sorts of things. And the defendant can donate $10 an hour to those services to provide proof of that to the probation officer, and they get credit for their community service hours.
Great, thank you, Judge.
Here's a list of that.
Mr. Holt, I will send you a copy of it.
Thank
Okay,
you so much.
Or they can get a copy from their probation officer once
Okay.
the court reporting.
there you go.
All right, Mr. Hayden, clause 6555509. The court accepts your plea of no contest to the offense of driving while intoxicated, first offense. Although I have enough evidence to find you guilty, I'm going to withhold the finding of guilt. Place you on 1 year deferred adjudication probation. He says a $500 fine, probating $250 of that, plus court costs, 24 hours community service, CWI education course, CWI victim impact panel, Community Alliance for Traffic Safety New Intervention Program, outpatient drug, Smart Start Mobile, times 4 blows a day for 6 months, which is half the term. And on everybody's case, not just Mr. Hayden, we're going to recall any bond conditions I may have said on anybody before we got here today. And that should take care of that. Anything further from the state of the defense on Mr. Hayden?
Judge, is the outpatient drug fall underneath the
CATSNP is the outpatient drug.
Okay, understood. Thank you, Judge.
9 out of 10 people, I say, go to CATSNP, they go, what am I talking about? So there you go.
Yes, sir.
All right, good luck, Mr. Hayden. Thank you, Mr. Hole. Y'all are excused.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Lucina in clause 655-606. To the charge of assault bodily injury. How do you plead, sir?
No contest, Your Honor.
And is there an agreement for Mr. Lucina?
12 months deferred adjudication, $400 fine plus court costs, 48 hours community service, an APSE course, and a no contact order with Fagundo Fulguera.
That's correct, Judge.
Is there any reason Mr. Lucina needs to see Mr. Facundo Fulguera?
No, Judge, there's not.
Great. Okay, Mr. Lucina, about 655-606, court accepts your plea of no contest. Although I have enough evidence to find you guilty, I'm to the charge of assault bodily injury. Although I have enough evidence to find you guilty, I'm going to withhold the finding of guilt. Place you on 1 year deferred adjudication probation. It says a $400 fine plus court costs, 48 hours community service, APSE, stress abandonment course, and no contact with, here we go, Facundo Folguera. And that takes care of that. Anything further from the state of the defense on Mr. Lucina?
Nothing
No,
further.
Your Honor. May we be excused?
Good luck, Mr. Lucina. Thank you, Mr. Simpson. Y'all are excused.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You betcha. Okay, clause 658980. Mr. Barry to the charge of unlawfully carrying a weapon, to wit, a handgun. How do you plead, sir?
No contest, sir.
And is there an agreement for Mr. Barry?
8 months deferred adjudication, $200 fine plus court costs, 30 hours community service, gun safety course, and a motion to forfeit the weapon.
What kind of weapon is this, Mr. Bloomquist? I know it's a handgun, but what make and all that?
I don't have it right in front of me, Your Honor.
I'll bet Mr. Barry would know. Mr. Barry, what kind of handgun is this?
It was a 1911 Colt 45.
Made by Cole?
It was made by Rock Island, I believe, sir.
The World War II one?
I believe so, yes, sir.
All right. Well, I hate to destroy these things if they're valuable guns. In lieu of destroying this thing, Mr. Bloomquist, would you be willing to accept it as additional attorney's fees? And Mr. Barry, would that be okay with you instead of destroying it?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Barry, is that okay with you?
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Barry, in clause 658980, the court accepts your plea of no contest defense on unlawfully carrying a handgun. Although I have enough evidence to find you guilty, I'm going to withhold the finding of guilt. Place you at 8 months deferred adjudication probation. It says a $200 fine plus court cost, 80 hours community service, firearm safety course, and weapon. The state's motion to forfeit and or destroy weapon is denied, and weapon is awarded to attorneys. Additional attorney's fees not to be returned to the defendant, his family, or his friends. I'm going to probate $100 of Mr. Barry's fine because his gun is worth lots of money and that kind of thing. So,
Judge,
right,
how many
okay.
community service hours did you say?
Let's see. No, I missed that. Let me go back. 30 hours community service.
30,
right?
okay, just making sure.
I think I said 80. 30
Yeah.
hours community service. What a nice state. It saved us 50 hours. All right. Anything further from the state of the defense on Mr. Barry?
Nothing
No,
further.
Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Barry. Good luck. And Mr. Bloomquist, you're excused. Thanks.
Thank you, Judge. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Mr. Aguilera, on class 650382, Mr. Quiros to the charge of, oh, no, state, you have motions. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yes, Judge, the state moves to add a count 2 of obstruction, waive count 1, and proceed on count 2.
State motion to amend the information, adding paragraph 2 alleging obstruction of a highway. No objection from the defense is granted. And then state's motion to waive paragraph 1 and proceed on paragraph 2, obstruction of a highway. No objection from the defense is also granted. Therefore, Mr. Quiros, in clause 650382 to the charge of obstruction of a highway. How do you plead?
No contest.
Thank you. Is there an agreement for Mr. Quiros?
12 months deferred adjudication, $850 fine plus court costs, 48 hours community service, EWI education, victim impact panel, CATSNP, and Smart Start Mobile for half the term.
And Judge, he has already completed prior to the part of our agreement in getting the obstruction. He's already completed the DWI education course and the victim impact panel. I forwarded copies of those certificates to Ms. O'Connor earlier.
Great. No problem whatsoever.
And
All right.
Judge, as far as the Smart Start, if we like to address that, I talked to the folks from Smart Start, and my client was wondering whether he could give specific times that he could give that. And the CATSNP said, Smart Start said that as long as it was in your order, that the specific times that they could calibrate it for those particular times. And he would like to do it at 5 o'clock in the morning, 12:30, and then at 6:30. He gets to work at 6, so he wants to be able to do it at 4. And then he can, at 12:30, he can do it during his lunch hour, and then 6:30, he's already home.
Hang on a sec. Susan, do you know what the standard times are that we're using on Smart Start Mobile at 4 blows a day?
Judge, I don't know what the standard times are. I think they kind of asked the defendants what their schedule is, and they kind of accommodated around that. And then if that doesn't work, then they coordinate with the officer, and the officer will usually adjust it accordingly, but in order to still cover enough time of the day to where it doesn't allow for alcohol use.
Mr. Aguilera, let him just coordinate. Does he actually have a Smart Start yet, or he has to go get one?
Not yet, Chet.
All right.
No.
When he goes and gets one, be sure he tells them it's their schedule, and then see what they can do for him. And if that doesn't work for you guys, let him tell you, you call me, and I'll probably talk to Smart Start, and we'll come up with a plan. How's that?
Okay. Yes, Judge, thank you.
All right. You bet.
It will be 4 times a day, not 3.
Okay, okay.
So one of them may not be super convenient for him, but you know, that's just one of the consequences of being on probation.
All right, let me go through this one more time, make sure we got everything. The court accepts your plea of no contest to the offense of obstruction of a highway. Although I have enough evidence to find you guilty, I'm going to withhold a finding of guilt, place you on 1 year deferred adjudication probation, assist $850 fine plus court costs, 48 hours community service, DWI education, DWI victim impact panel, Community Alliance for Traffic Safety New Intervention Program, Smart Start Mobile ×4 for 6 months. And you're going to get proactive credit for DWI education and the victim impact panel. Just show your probation officer copies of your graduation certificates, and that's all good. Anything further from the state of the defense on Mr. Quiros?
The only thing, Judge, I've talked to Mr. Quiros about this as to whether he would like to make a donation in lieu of the community service hours. And I'll talk to him, and I guess he can approach his probation officer about that.
Pat can give you a list of, I think it's probably 5 or 6 different organizations that we support.
And Ms. Benavides, if you could forward that to my email, would appreciate it.
Okay, anything further from the state of the defense on Mr. Quiros?
Just one question, Judge.
Sure.
Your prosecutor, Flores, is he any relation to our Willie Flores, our grand attorney friend?
Guillermo, are you related?
I don't think he's there.
He went to go talk to intake, so I don't know if he's
Okay,
there.
that was, because that's not a very common name, Guillermo Flores.
All right.
Thank you, Judge. May we be excused.
Thank you, Mr. Quiros.
All right.
Okay,
Jonathan?
next batch. Everybody's excused out of that batch. Let's see. Okay, we got 4 folks on this one. Cause number 659-573, State of Texas versus Iris Rodriguez. Cause 658-685, State of Texas versus Laura Laney. Cause 653-628, State of Texas versus Jessica Hughes. And cause 652-341, State of Texas versus Dominique Maldonado. Ms. Maldonado is represented by Ms. Ashley Morgan. Ms. Hughes is represented by Ms. Elizabeth Russell. Ms. Laney is represented by Mr. Cecil Bain, and Ms. Rodriguez is represented by Mr. Douglas Kapmeyer. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, I need you to identify your signatures on a couple of documents for me. The first document is entitled Defendant's Consent to Plea by Video Conference. Ms. Rodriguez, in clause 659-573, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Mr. Kapmeyer, attorney for Ms. Rodriguez, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Laney, in clause 658-685, is this your signature on this document, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And let's see what we got here. Mr. Bain, as attorney for Ms. Laney, is this your signature on this document also?
Yes, it is, Your Honor, and this is going to be a deferred, Your Honor.
Let's see what I got. Yep, I got it. Okay, and Ms. Hughes, in clause 653-628, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor. It is, Judge.
Thank you. And Ms. Russell, as attorney for Ms. Hughes, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, Judge.
Thank you. Ms. Maldonado, in clause 652-341, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, sir.
And Ms. Morgan, as attorney for Ms. Maldonado, is this also your signature on this document?
It is, Judge.
Thank you. The next document I'm looking at is entitled Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonition that purports to have your signatures on the back. Effectively waiving certain constitutional rights you must waive in order to enter a plea before this court. In fact, Ms. Rodriguez, is this your signature on this document, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Laney, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Ms. Hughes, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And Ms. Maldonado, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. By signing this document, are you telling me that you've had enough time to either read this document or have it read to you in its entirety? If you had any questions about what was on this document, those questions were answered to your satisfaction by your attorney. So in signing this document, you're telling me that you agree with and understand everything on this document. Is that correct, Ms. Rodriguez?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Is that correct, Ms. Laney?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Is that correct, Ms. Hughes?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Is that correct, Ms. Maldonado?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Capmeyer, the attorney for Ms. Rodriguez, have you had enough time to go over this case with her, and in your opinion, is she mentally competent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Same question for Mr. Bain as attorney for Ms. Laney.
Yes, Your Honor.
Same question for Ms. Russell as attorney for Ms. Hughes.
Yes, Judge.
And same question for Ms. Morgan as attorney for Ms. Maldonado.
She is to both, Judge.
And Ms. Rodriguez, are you a United States citizen, ma'am?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. What was that?
Yes, Ms. Rodriguez, are you a United States citizen?
Yes, Your Honor.
Same question for Ms. Laney.
Yes, sir.
Same question for Ms. Hughes.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And same question for Ms. Maldonado.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Capmeyer, the attorney for Ms. Rodriguez, has the state fully complied with discovery for you on this case?
Believe so.
Same question for Mr. Bain as attorney for Ms. Laney.
Yes, Your Honor.
Same question for Ms. Russell as attorney for Ms. Hughes.
Yes, Judge.
Same question for Ms. Morgan as attorney for Ms. Maldonado.
Yes, Judge.
Okay. And in cause 659-573, Ms. Rodriguez to the charge of theft, $100 to $750. How do you plead, ma'am?
Guilty.
Is there an agreement for Ms. Rodriguez?
2 days in the Bear County Jail, $200 fine plus court costs, credit for time served, time and money trunk concurrent, and we ask this be a JSAT, Judge.
And defense, is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, Your Honor. Judgment satisfied. She cut out, but that's what she said.
Okay. Ms. Rodriguez, in cause 659-573, the court accepts your plea of guilty to the offense of theft, $100 to $750. I find you guilty. I says 2 days in the Bear County Jail, a $200 fine plus court cost. Credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent. Judgment satisfied. Anything further from the state of the defense on Ms. Rodriguez?
No, that was it, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Rodriguez. Good luck. Thank you, Mr. Capmeyer.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. And on Ms. Laney's case, we're doing the deferred. Is that correct, Mr. Bain?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. In class 658-685, Ms. Laney to the charge of theft under $100 enhanced. How do you plead?
No contest, Judge.
Court accepts the plea, no contest. Is there an agreement for deferred adjudication for Ms. Laney in this case state?
6 months deferred adjudication, a $100 fine plus court cost, 24 hours community service, an ATSE course, regular UAs, and a no contact order with Walmart.
And Mr. Bain, is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, Judge.
Ms. Laney, in clause 638-685, the court accepts your plea of no contest to the offense of theft under $100 enhanced. Although I have enough evidence to find you guilty, I'm going to withhold the finding of guilt. Place you on 6 months. Deferred adjudication probation assess a $100 fine plus court cost. 24 hours community service, ATSE, theft course, regular analysis test, or do you have no contact with Walmart stores in San Antonio, Bear County, Texas during the term of your probation? Anything further from the state of the defense on Ms. Laney?
From the defense, Your Honor,
Sure.
I believe the plea bargain limited to the store involved, which is 1603 Vance Jackson, as she might have go to other stores.
She's gonna have to find somewhere else to shop because my policy is if somebody commits a theft at HEB, they can't go to HEB while they're on probation. They commit a theft at Walmart, they can't go to Walmart while they're on probation.
I understand that.
No problem.
I understand that. My client should agree to that, Your Honor.
All right, fair enough. Good luck, Ms. Laney. Thank you, Mr. Bain.
Excuse.
You bet.
Thank you, Alexis.
Problem.
Okay, State, you have a motion on this one.
Yes, Judge, the state moves to waive the enhancement and proceed as a DWI first.
State's motion to waive the greater than 0.15 enhancement, no objection from the defense is granted. Therefore, Ms. Hughes to the in cause 653-628 to the charge of driving while intoxicated, first offense. How do you plead, ma'am?
No contest.
Is there an agreement for Ms. Hughes?
16 months deferred adjudication, a $500 fine plus court costs, 48 hours community service, DWI education, victim impact panel, CAT-SNP, and Smart Start Mobile for half the term.
And defense, is that your understanding of the agreement?
It is, Judge.
Okay, Ms. Hughes in cause 653-628. Court accepts your plea of no contest to the offense of driving while intoxicated, first offense. Although I have enough evidence to find you guilty, I'm going to withhold a finding of guilt. Place you on 16 months deferred adjudication probation. It says a $500 fine plus court cost, 48 hours community service, DWI education course, DWI victim impact panel, Community Alliance for Traffic Safety New Intervention Program, and the Smart Start Mobile Home Interlock at 4 blows a day for 8 months, which is half the term. Anything further from the state or the defense on Ms. Hughes?
Yes, Judge, we just had one quick thing.
Sure.
My client was on Smart Start Mobile because she's not the only driver above the age of 16 that utilizes that car. But if it's more financially, it's easier for her financially, can she be allowed to do ignition interlock instead of the Smart Start?
No, but the issue is everybody in this court uses Smart Start because then I can monitor them 24 hours a day, and it doesn't provide conflicts with other people driving the car because it has no ignition interlock on it. So
okay, I understand that, Judge.
And she can, if she's got ignition interlock right now, she can have 10 days or whatever is reasonable to go get the Smart Start Mobile active. And as soon as that's active, she can take the interlock off and not have to pay for that anymore.
Ms. Hughes, do you understand that?
I understand a little bit, but does that mean she can't drive my car? She's in the military. That's what I'm asking.
There's going to be no device in your car. You're going to have a handheld device instead that only you blow into.
Oh, okay. So I didn't. Okay, I get it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, good luck, Ms. Hughes. Thank you, Ms. Russell.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, call 652-341. State, you have motions on this one too. Motion away.
Yes, Judge, the state moves to add a count 2 of obstruction, waive count 1, and proceed on count 2.
And state's motion to amend the information, adding paragraph 2 alleging obstruction of the highway. No objection from the defense is granted. And you have another motion. Are you waiving paragraph 1 now that you got paragraph 2?
Yes, Judge, we're waiving count 1 and only proceeding on count 2.
Okay, and once again, no objection from the defense, that will be granted. So now we're proceeding on the offense of obstruction of a highway. Therefore, Mr. Maldonado on clause 652-341 to the charge of obstruction of a highway. How do you plead now?
Guilty.
Is there an agreement for Ms. Maldonado?
14 months deferred adjudication, $500 fine plus court costs, 48 hours community service, DWI education, victim impact panel, CAT-SNP, Smart Start Mobile for half the term, and regular UAs.
And Ms.
That's
Morgan,
our agreement.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's our understanding, and she has completed her classes.
Okay, great. All she needs to do is provide copies of her completion certificates or whatever to a probation officer. She certainly will get proactive credit, and I commend her for doing that. Okay, Ms. Maldonado, on clause 652-341, the court accepts her plea of guilty to the offense of obstruction of a highway. Although I have enough evidence to find you guilty, I'm going to withhold the finding of guilt. Place you on 14 months deferred adjudication probation. It says a $500 fine plus court cost, 48 hours community service, DWI education, DWI victim impact panel, Community Alliance for Traffic Safety New Intervention Program, Start Mobile at 4 blows a day for 7 months, which is 1/2 the term, and regular urinalysis test. Anything further from the state or the defense on Ms. Maldonado?
No, Judge.
All right. Good luck, Ms. Maldonado. Thank you, Ms. Morgan. Y'all are